Gary Claremont.
Here comes one of the last Auburns ever made. Came off the production line in 60, I think. Yeah, looks like
58 Corvette.
the last Auburn right there.
Yeah, this is the last Auburn. I think they're a little slightly off, Ken. All right, we got a Beauty 6 coming here. What do we have?
Robert and Sharon Piper from Hamilton, Ohio. A Beauty 6, multiple winner, brings it every year and wins the Senior Americas every year.
Here's one of the earliest Auburns. This is a model that's called the Beauty 6. Mr. Cord came to Auburn in 1924. Basically, with his job was to modernize and sharpen up these cars. That was the car they were building before Mr. Cord showed up.
Next is Ray and Karen Parker, right here from Indiana, in an Auburn sedan, 1926.
This is a very early, this is the first design of the Auburn after Mr. Cord became involved. Mr. Cord is the one that actually designed that sweep that you see, that nice little curve on the hood, which makes the car go, makes it go faster. It appears to be going faster. Mr. Cord did that design.
This 1931 Auburn, former Best of Show winner, Barb and Jay Engler from Fremont, Ohio. I think this is only his second time here in Auburn.
Yeah, 32, yeah, many times in Auburn. The way this company was structured, the Auburn Automobile Company built what I would call the lower medium price cars. This was their car that they were the bread and butter car that they made most of their money off of. The Cord was a luxury car. The Duesenberg was a supercar. All three of them were built by the Cord Corporation.
Here comes Bob Gibson from Independence, Kentucky.
Now this year we're featuring Auburn sedans, and there's a good example of this is a standard Auburn sedan you could get when you went into the showroom. It had a rear-mounted spare and wood wheels on it. If you wanted wire wheels, you wanted side mounts in the fenders, you had to pay extra for it.
Bob won a self-restored, owner-restored award for that car. He did 90% of the work himself. Now comes Jack and Lucy Laughlin, right from Fort Wayne, a 31 Auburn Brougham.
The Auburn Brougham, this is a two-door closed car. This was very popular. It's a good-looking car, a nice body style. You have a back seat, and look at how long the front door is. So there's room for people to get into the back seat through that one door. When Mr. Cord became involved here in Auburn, the Auburn Automobile Company originally was founded by the Eckert brothers. Eckert Library and Eckert Park are named after the Eckert brothers. In 1921, they sold the company to an investment group in Chicago. They were running into financial problems. The cars weren't selling well. So they heard about Mr. Cord. He was a moon salesman, M-O-N, believe it or not, moon, like the moon in the sky, moon automobile salesman in Chicago. And they heard that he was a super salesman, and they eventually offered him 51% of the company if he could somehow bail them out, get the cars sold. He came to Auburn in 1924, sold all of those Auburns that were backed up, and then became the owner of the company.
Being that this is the year of the closed Auburn, we have a 1931 Auburn 898 sedan, Dennis Wittenkamp from Newton, Wisconsin.
You know, look at the wheels on that car. Those are wood. They're usually hickory. It's a very hard wood that you put in these spokes of these wheels.
This next car, Dave and Angie Holland from Indianapolis, a 32 coupe.
Auburn completely redesigned their cars in 1931. First of all, the major redesign was after Mr. Cord came in 24. The 25, 26 Auburns were really sharpened up. The newer model, the 31, 32s, like the one you just saw and the one that's coming, this is a kind of a second generation of design. These are much better looking cars, very attractive.
This is Frank and Cindy Guzik from Fort Wayne. This car, it's a 31 sedan, and it's restored to very high quality. If you need some information on the car, look at that one.
Here's another early Auburn coming. This car, again, this is an example of the cars after Mr. Cord became involved. Notice that little sweep in the hood, that cowl sweep is something that was very stylish.
Robert and Joanne Seedlock from Brentwood, Tennessee, 28 Auburn.
Here's the last series of Auburns were built 1935 and 36.
This is Troy and Carrie Ackerman right here big long-distance driving award from Auburn.
Yeah, this car has been in Auburn for much of its life. Troy Ackerman's behind the wheel, not behind the wheel, but okay. We've got, this is the bread and butter car from Auburn. It's a 6-cylinder car that was their lowest price in Auburn.
This 32 Auburn sedan, owned by Mike Doobie from Ravenna, Ohio. Excellent colors on the paint there, excellent.
Yeah, I think the paint job, the paint basically in the 1930s, you could get any color you wanted if you paid extra for it. They did have a lot of 2-tones and 3-tones, but you could really sharpen them up with color.
This car right here, Ron and Betsy Thomas, also from Zanesville, Ohio. 32 Auburn, 12-cylinder.
Yeah, take a look at the length of the hood. This is a big 12-cylinder, 390 cubic inch engine under the hood. Here is a 1936 Auburn sedan, very, very original. I believe that's the one that John Bill just purchased at the
That car was brought here by Doug Pray.
Yeah, from Doug Pray's car.
This next car, George and Marilyn Smith from Elkhart, Indiana, Auburn Brougham, 33 model. Notice the different additions with this car.
Look at the grille on the car, look at the V windshield, all of this. This is a model called Salon. The Salon model was a couple $100 extra, and you got a lot of different trim on it.
This next car belongs to Anna Sue Johnson from Waterloo, Indiana, 35 Auburn.
The 1935 Auburn basically was a redesign of the 34 model. The 34 was done by Alan Leamy. Gordon Beerig redesigned it to make it look a little smoother.
This next car, owned by Roxana and Eugene Kearns, is basically an unrestored car.
Yeah, take a look at it. Big 12-cylinder Auburn. Look at the dual exhausts on it because it's got a 12-cylinder motor in it. Another very early Auburn. This has a windshield on it that's called a Brewster no glare windshield. It has many different curves in it that holds the glare down.
John and Kirsten Reza from Bristol, followed by Philip and Carol Landell from here in Auburn.
There's an amazing number of Auburns that are owned by residents of Auburn. My guess would be there's at least 15 to 20 people living here in Auburn that now own Auburn automobiles, which is really kind of a neat. It's very much a part of the heritage of this community.
If I lived here, I definitely have one. Craig and Nancy Bassett, they have, this is part of their fleet. There's 500 of these taxis in town, and this is their premier model right there.
Take a look at that. Eighth of a mile for 15 cents. Those prices, you're not seeing those prices anymore, Cal.
I'll take that car home.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Troy and Carrie Ackerman, also from Auburn, Indiana, a 32 Cabriolet.
Notice the pretty grille in this. That was an accessory to keep bugs from getting squashed as you're going down the road, to keep the front of the car looking nice.
Here comes Ed and Mary Kay Helmkamp, from right here from Indiana, 35 sedan. All the sedans are coming first because they are the mark of the year this year.
Every year we feature a different type of automobile, whether it's an Auburn Court or Duesenberg. This year, it's the Auburn sedans are the feature cars.
This next car, Tally and Lynn Petersons from Baltimore, Maryland, the 34 Brougham.
This was a complete redesign in 1934 done by Alan Leamy. The design was not popular with people, and they restyled it in 1935 and 36.
These next two cars are coming through the courtesy of Bill Parfett and Barbara Parfett out of Hickory Corners. You'll notice they are exactly the same in color, and they are salons. Mr. Parfett owns all the models for the 33 12-cylinder salons.
Look at that beautiful, look at those beautiful pair of 12-cylinder salon-bodied.
Hey, Bill,
Auburns.
who's the girl in the back seat there?
Okay. The Auburn Automobile Company, as I say, was E.O. Ford assumed ownership and management of the company in 1925. And basically, a short time thereafter, he bought the Duesenberg Company. The Duesenberg Company was based in Indianapolis. Mr. Cord bought him out of bankruptcy. And ultimately said, build the greatest car in the world, which is the Model J Duesenberg. You'll see Model J's coming down shortly.
Coming down the road now, this is a 1934-36 Auburn. Real nice car.
You know what, Ken? I think that might be a little bit different than the 34-36 Auburn.
This next 34 Auburn is from Jim and Janet Clyde, all the way from Kansas in 1935.
Now you see the gal in the seat there, the rumble seat. That little seat in the back would hold two people. That was the reason they called those rumble seats, is that when you were sitting back there, you could hear the rumble of the exhaust, because the exhaust pipe is right behind you. So therefore they called them rumble seats. They made those really up into the later 1930s. They offered those on cars.
Next coming, someone everyone here knows, Bert and Elsie Dickman, right here from town, 36 Auburn sedan.
Former mayor of Auburn, Bert Dickman. All right, and my little history of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company. Mr. Cord bought Duesenberg in 1925, and he told Fred and August Duesenberg to build the greatest car in the world, which is the Model J, which came out in late 1928. Also in 1929, he introduced the front-wheel drive Cord automobile in a car named after himself. So at that point, the company was making three cars. Auburn's for their baseline car. Cord was their luxury competitor against Packard and Stutz and Marmon. And then you had the supercar, which was the Duesenberg.
Coming along now is Cameron Peterson with the horn attached to a 1935 Auburn 851 sedan. Thank you.
That's a very rare one. Look, it has a divider window in it. Those air horns that you hear, those were Buell air horns. They were an accessory on these cars. You could pay about $20 extra to get a set of Buells. Yeah, you can hear them now. The motto of the company was that they could be heard 1 mile on land and 3 miles at sea. I used to have a set of these on a car.
Your wife made you take them off.
I'll tell you, if you had a road hog in front of you, you just pull the Buells, and guess what? They get out of your way.
Believe it. Mark and Angie Higgins from Columbus, Ohio, a 33 Phaeton. No, that's not a Phaeton.
This is an Auburn sedan again. This is one of our feature cars. This looks like a very, very original car.
Sometimes you can't read these things. People lie.
Well, you're no problem, Ken. Looks like we got another 12 coming here. What is this, an 8 or 12? What
It's
do you
a
think,
12. It's Sid and Belva Myers from here in town. Cylinder 32.
This is another Auburn-based car. Sid has, again, and I think a number of his family members have these beautiful Auburns.
Martin and Susan, Lepker, I believe, St. Louis, Missouri, 36 Auburn. Is that close?
You'll notice that we have people really from all over the country that come to this reunion. This is an annual event hosted by the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Club, and it's always great to be back here in Auburn.
Here's the former president of the Auburn Club, Gene and Marianne Robinson. Hi, Gene.
You'll take a look. Here's an unrestored car. The reason we have unrestored cars here is it shows you what people start with. Everyone thinks these cars are beautiful. They aren't beautiful when you start with them.
Not very much. Here's Lawrence Canary from Maumee, Ohio.
A lot of these cars you get in pieces, or they're badly rusted out, or they're missing parts, and it's just an amazing thing to have to restore these automobiles.
Here's Andy and Dee Dee LaRoe right here from town. 1932 Auburn 12-cylinder Brougham, really good car.
Yeah, take a look at that big 12-cylinder motor under the hood. Look at the engine in this car. These are really powerful motors.
Mike and Kathy Butler also from town here. A lot of Auburns in Auburn.
A lot of Auburns and the Butler family, I think probably own about 10 Auburns in the family, and they're all located right here in Auburn, Indiana.
Every year I go through this. This is the Butler Parade. Now we have another car owned by Mike and Kathy Butler.
Yep, we have lots of Butlers and they have lots of Auburns. Look at, whoops, they even got their dog with them here today. That's a 32 Auburn sedan.
This next Butler car is owned by Dawn and Letha Butler, also from town. Maroon, 33 Auburn.
Notice a little spotlight in the center. This is another one of these accessories. That's something that it turns as you go around a corner. That light turns so that the light goes around the corner.
Hi, kids.
It's called a pilot ray light. That was a very nice accessory.
This is Thomas Quick's 1934 12-cylinder sedan.
This is a salon model. We've seen some salon cars come through. Again, this was an extra cost accessory. Look at the bumper. It kind of looks like a lips, and it's got special grille, V windshields, stainless steel on the fenders, all kinds of different trim.
Tom Quick really doesn't care who he picks up. Did you see he was riding shotgun?
No, I didn't see. Ken.
Dick Green.
Dick Green. Okay, all right.
Here's
Mr.
Carol
L29.
Mahoney. Who's driving? Carol and Chris Mahoney from Leicester, New York.
All right, here's another Auburn under restoration. If you didn't know it, you can see it's under restoration. This is
Ray
pretty
Schaub.
chrome. Good looking car.
All the way from Kansas.
Good to see you.
Here's another unrestored car owned by Bob and Carol Eston from Pennsylvania.
This is an example of a really nice unrestored car. We try to encourage people to leave cars unrestored if they're really good, because they serve as models for people restoring really rough cars. They can look at an original and see, yeah, that's the way the company actually did it. Very rare.
Here's Steve Babinski in 12-cylinder Brougham.
Take a look at this. That's an unrestored original. A big 12-cylinder Brougham. They only have, there's 2 of them in the world, and both of them are here today.
Bill and Judy Rittberg from Middlefield, Connecticut. Long time, long way to get here.
Yep, an 8-cylinder Brougham with wood wheels. The wood wheels could be either painted like these are or natural varnished wood, depending on what you wanted.
Here comes Sheldon Rear from Cambridge, Ontario in a 32 Brougham. This is one of the cars that came out of a barn, and it's basically unrestored.
Yep, another barn find. You'd be amazed at how many cars still are sitting back in old garages, old barns, just waiting to be discovered. And this is a wonderful example of a rare automobile that was recently pulled out of a barn.
This next car comes from Prescott, Wisconsin. It's Kurt Schultz. It's another unrestored car that he bought here locally, actually, and took it to Wisconsin.
The last Auburns built were in 1935 and 1936. After that, Auburn production ceased here in Auburn, Indiana.
Hey, Kurt.
The only cars still built by this company were the Cords in 1937, and a few Duesenbergs are still sold that way.
From Fort Wayne, Dave Pebble, 36 Auburn, 6-cylinder Brougham.
You can get these Auburns in 3 different versions. You can get the 6-cylinder, and the car right in front of you is the 6-cylinder Brougham. This is the absolute lowest priced Auburn. This is their bread and butter. This is where they made all their money, with that car. And then you could have an 8, that's a 6-cylinder. You could have an 8-cylinder, and you could also have a supercharged car.
Here comes Bob and Denise Sack from Perry, Ohio.
Notice how the windshield folds down. This is a very sporty thing, but you don't want to go too fast, or at least keep your mouth closed, because the bugs will get you.
This next car is part of a good friend of mine who passed away, and former president of the club. The Fraunfelder family is in the hey, look at there.
Another 6-cylinder Auburn.
And also great speedsters following.
The Boat Tail Speedster, you're going to see here. Take a look at the rear end of this. This is a model called Boat Tail. This was the sportiest model the company built. All right, take a look at this wonderful I believe a 1910, isn't it?
So 1910 Auburn X Touring.
There's one of the the very first Auburn was 1904. If you go down to the museum today, you'll see the 1904 Auburn. There's a 1910. That was their top of the line, the big 4-cylinder.
He just got that car about 3 years ago out of an auction, a state auction out in Walla Walla, Washington.
Unbelievable.
Richard and Helen Harding from Ohio.
Look at this gorgeous speedster. These cars were used in racing events. That literally is an early NASCAR type of car. These were raced competitively.
Charles Meyer in a 29 Auburn Cabriolet.
Underneath the hood on these engines are motors built by the Lycoming Company. Lycoming was based in Lycoming in New York. This was a holding of the Cord Corporation. So the Cord Corporation, of course, sold engines to their different automobile manufacturers.
Here's Art Bollinger from Sylvania, Ohio.
Take a look at the hood ornament. That's a Lalique crystal ornament. That was an accessory, and it lights up at night. When you were going down the road, that would light up on your hood. How's that for neat?
Next is Mike and Judy Gaylor from Dade City, Florida, 32 Speedster.
Another beautiful Auburn Speedster. This was designed by Alan Leamy. I think it's the best design of them all on Speedsters. Whoa.
Here comes one of the rarest cars here. It's owned by Theodore Reimel, I believe, Wayne, PA, a 32 12-cylinder.
Isn't that a fabulous car? Ted just recently had the restoration finished. Take a look at the lines. Isn't that spectacular? That's a 12-cylinder motor. They actually raced those at the Salt Flats in Utah and set speed records with those cars.
There, next is Gary Howe and Cheryl Howe. I think he brought her, I'm not sure.
Yep, I believe it is the Howes.
Yes, they are. This car is a former Best Auburn. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Guys, notice the chrome wire wheels. That's another accessory. Though, if you got wire wheels, which you had to pay extra for, you could also pay even more and get them chromed. And I think it was like $10 a wheel to chrome them. It'll cost a lot more today.
I don't have a card on this car, I'm sorry.
All right, we got a beautiful Salon convertible sedan, 1933. Take a look. Beautiful colors on this car. A very rare Salon convertible sedan.
From LaPorte, Indiana, Robert Magnuson. The beige 31 Auburn Cabriolet.
Now again, you can see there's two people riding in the rumble seat. This actually gave you room to carry two more people. It's really a two-passenger car, but if you're pressed, you can have two in the back. And you always hope it's not going to rain.
This next car is owned by Jerry Doherty from Plymouth, Michigan. It's a silver and blue Auburn 1929 120 Speedster. When you get a chance, ask him to open the hood. He's got that thing.
And this is a gorgeous big Speedster. This is the biggest engine. It's a 120 horse engine. That car will go close to 100 miles an hour. And again, these were raced in board track racing and set all kinds of speed records.
There's another 20, or this is
another beauty.
29
Okay, guys.
Speedster, Terry and Rita Ernst.
Yeah, the Ernst from from Port Huron, Michigan. Another beautiful early Speedster.
Here comes a beautiful car. Check this one out. Debbie and Kurt Curtis from Brentwood, Tennessee. 31 Auburn. Very nice.
Notice the little mirrors on the spare tires and the fenders. Again, those are called side mount mirrors, and that was another accessory. There's all kinds of ways dealers could make extra money.
Right here from Garrett, Indiana, Dave Yard, 32 Auburn. Out by Davis McCann from Parker, Colorado, a 32 Auburn 12-cylinder. Another beautiful car. Great
look at the
restoration.
finish on this car. Oh my Lord! What a gorgeous paint. These colors, again, you could get any color under the rainbow as long as you pay for it.
This next car, a fresh restoration, owned by Jim Schneck from Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Look at this
34 Auburn 1250 Cabriolet.
This is really rare. It's a Salon model. Notice the stainless steels on the fender edge, on the hood sides. There's extra stainless all over the car. This is a wood-wheeled car. This is the only 12-cylinder Auburn I've ever seen with wood wheels, but if they did come, you could get them even that late.
Here's Chris and Laura Maloney. You want to talk about coming far away from Rancho Santa Fe, California, 34
Look at this gorgeous, again, here's a Salon 34 Speedster, the big 12-cylinder. Take a look at this. There's your absolute top-of-the-line Auburn Speedster.
Tom Beal from Carmel, Indiana, 36 Auburn Cabriolet. I looked at this car this morning.
Now, if you listen as you go by, you notice it says supercharged on the side of the hood. You'll hear a little whirring under the hood. It's a centrifugal supercharger. It makes a little noise under the. This one's got another supercharged car.
Randy Kurtz from Cleveland.
And another supercharged car. Again, this was an accessory. And when you got the supercharged, okay, when you got the supercharged car, you also got the outside exhaust pipes. The horsepower was increased from about 120 up to around 150, so it was quite a horsepower increase.
Another Canadian car, Mr. Bob Becker with his daughter. I met her this morning. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Here's a supercharged
Don't
Speedster.
holler at me, please.
There's 3 different types of Speedsters. This is the very last Speedster built in 35, 36.
Next is Brad
Go ahead. Ken.
Doherty from Plymouth, Michigan.
The Auburn Speedsters, like the black one you just saw, were basically built as showroom draws. It was to get people into the showroom, sell them a sedan. They only made a couple hundred. Another, look at this nice original Auburn convertible sedan. A nice
Here comes
original.
from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. A fresh restoration on a 1935 Auburn Speedster.
Look at this, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. All right.
I think that's Lou
okay.
Fico. I'm not sure. Is that Lou?
Yeah, it looks like Lou. Out of control again. Okay. That color is called cigarette cream. Believe it or not, that is absolutely dead on correct. Cigarette cream. That was a very popular color on both supercharged Cords and on the Auburn Speedster.
Next is Greg and Gene Jones from Pineville, Louisiana.
And you notice the rear windshield there's a rear windshield in the back that helps to keep the wind and the bugs off of people in the back seat. That windshield is an accessory. It will fold down and fold out of sight when you have the top up.
Here comes a 1932 Auburn 8100A Phaeton, Donald and Pamela Phillips, also from Hobart, Indiana, another local group.
Notice the knockoff wheels. These are knockoffs like they have on race cars. There's just a big wrench that you get. You jack the car up, you have a wrench, and you just spin it, and the wheel comes right off the car.
1935 Auburn four-door sedan, Marcus Shelley from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
And we got some Buell air horns on this beauty. All right.
What'd you say?
Okay.
Thompson Smith, and I believe Thompson's from right here in town.
Right
I'm
here
not
in
sure.
Auburn, Indiana. Thompson Smith.
Really nice, rare
the Smith
car.
family's been great supporters of the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Museum and the Natmus Museum. That's
Any more room in there?
That's an original touring car, too.
Yep. Good car.
All right, we're going to have a little break here. All right, I'm going to move it.
Bob's going out and have a beer.
Yeah, we'll have several beers, but in any event, as I mentioned, the reason for this festival is because the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Club was founded in 1952. Basically, the objective of the club is to preserve the history of these automobiles and also help each other in restoring them and getting parts and all of this type of thing. I encourage you to check the internet and check our website for the club. It's Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Club. You don't have to own one of these cars to become a member. We encourage people, if they have any interest whatsoever in these cars or this time period in history, that you join the club. You will get 10 newsletters a year, which are very attractive publications. We have a wonderful editor, and we strongly encourage people without cars to join. What we found is if people you don't have own a car initially, you get interested in them, you meet members, and eventually a lot of the people end up buying cars. So.
I believe somewhere in the crowd there's somebody from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Make sure you come up and see me afterwards when the parade is over. Right now, Bruce Beamers, I think he has some horns on that car. Yes, from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Also, if you look, there's a I'm trying to talk here. It also has a very rare Mullins trailer behind it.
Believe it or not, a lot of those trailers were sold in the 1930s. It wouldn't be that unusual in the 30s to see a car going down the road pulling one of those Mullins trailers.
Car number 128, George and Martha Glace from Jonesboro, Georgia. People come from all over to be here.
Yep, all over the country and basically all over the continent. We've got people from Canada, Quite a few people, members from Kansas.
We have some people from Chicago,
Yeah,
too.
we have people from Chicago, too. How about that?
Randy Kramer from Lebanon, PA.
Now notice this has a rear mount spare on it. That's how these cars came, and it actually kind of helps make the car look longer, just putting a single spare on the rear rather than breaking up the lines of the car with side mounts.
From Indianapolis, Sean Miller. Sean, do you think you could get maybe one or two more people in there? We have some people who want to go for a ride.
This is a wonderful car. It's been a part of our club for a number of years. Sean recently purchased this car, and this car has been driven all over the United States. It's a real great touring car.
Vincent, excuse me, I don't want to say Vince, it's Vincent. Vincent and Kathleen Quinn from Quakertown, PA, 35 Auburn, Phaeton.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful car.
Here's a board member. Wait a minute, she's too young to be a board member.
Make sure all
This
of
is
them.
Al Hatch from
Yeah.
future board member, right?
All right.
Alan Pat Hatch
Yeah.
from Grand Blanc.
Yeah, beautiful. That's a beautiful salon convertible sedan.
Daryl Wittenkamp from Wisconsin, Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
And this is gorgeous, Auburn.
He got it together after, what, 53 years?
Yeah,
It was apart for 53 years.
yeah, it's been apart for 53 years. It's not quite finished, but he brought it anyways.
Excuse me, this car is owned by Vernon Smith from Swift Current. Whatever that is.
Supercharged Auburn boat tail speedster. Look at the lines on that car. These cars were raced at Bonneville Salt Flats and set all kinds of speed records when they were brand new.
This is the first time that car's been here since 1935.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Richard Dowell from Auburn, Indiana. Another Auburn car in Auburn. Thank you.
I think it's fantastic, Ken, how many Auburns are owned by residents of Auburn. I think it's a great testament.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Oscar and Benita, all the way from Georgia, or across town. They have, whoa, look out.
We got Buell air horns, folks. I see. Again, these were a very popular dealer-installed accessory. These were actually very expensive. I think you paid over $100 for those horns in the 1930s.
I think Oscar paid a little more than $100.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he paid a lot more for that now. But
Leroy and Bonnie Gorsh,
here's a 34
Indiana.
Auburn. This is the 34 Auburn designed by Alan Lamy.
From Napanee, Indiana, Walter Engelmeyer. I think I said that one right. It's a really nice two-tone car. 1936 852 Phaeton.
Okay, you see this supercharged car. This is called a Phaeton or a convertible sedan. This was a popular car. Notice the trunk on the back of it. It was kind of a bolted-on thing. It helped to provide more room for if you were traveling with the car.
This next car is basically, it was from New York. It ended up in Pittsburgh for a little while, and now it's in Auburn almost permanently. He's owned it for about 10 or 12 years, but he's never taken it home to California. He keeps it right here at our museum. Thanks, Fred. Thank you. Fred
Beautiful
Pratt.
salon convertible sedan 12-cylinder. You know, you see all these salon 12-cylinders and think, wow, those are pretty common. The fact is they're unbelievably rare.
Actually, most of the ones that are around are here.
Yeah, exactly. You literally never see those cars except here in Auburn. They're so rare.
Varna, Illinois. Keith Seller with a 35653 Speedster. Thank you.
All right, beautiful car.
Next is Paul Terhorst from
Mundelein. Mundelein, Illinois.
He's just munding along here.
Paul has been a great supporter of this meet. He's been bringing cars